Now at 5, a plea agreement in the case of a Southeast Kansas shooting death. Plus, the Ronald McDonald House of the Four States celebrates a milestone birthday. And
3 weeks until Election Day, I'm Natalie Brand with a look at early voting in a key battleground state, plus where the candidates are focused today.
The Four States' most watched news starts now.
There's a plea agreement in a Southeast Kansas murder case where a man and woman are both charged. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Dow Quick. Death last year of Dakota Patton. As part of the deal, the prosecutor is recommending Nybarger receive a sentence of a little more than 24 years in prison. 23-year-old Dakota Patton was reported missing in April of last year. His body was discovered in a field in Neosho County, Kansas, the following month. According to court documents, Clint Nybarger was reportedly the last known person to see Patton alive, arguing with him at a gas station over a woman. While Patton was missing, Clint Nybarger and Kimberly Thomas got married. They then traveled to Missouri for their honeymoon, and that's where police arrested them both. Authorities originally charged them both with first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit murder. Kimberly is scheduled to appear in court for a hearing tomorrow. Joplin's Ronald McDonald House Charities of the Four States hosted a ribbon cutting in celebration of 50 years of global RMHC. The first Ronald McDonald House opened in Philadelphia 50 years ago. Ronald McDonald House provides a place to stay for families who have a child receiving medical care at a nearby hospital. They make a difference by reducing the financial strain of staying in a hotel, and they provide meals to families.
Because you never plan on your child being in the hospital. If you're expecting a baby, you never plan on delivering early. And so when those unexpected events happen, it's nice to know that a few blocks away or across the street from a hospital that you can come and you're welcomed with open arms.
To celebrate the 50th anniversary, RMHC of the Four States encourages supporters to purchase a legacy brick to contribute to their fundraising efforts. The temperature is dropping out there. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy.
Yeah, it turned out to be a nice Tuesday today, but with the wind, it made it feel chilly all day long. High temps only into lower 60s. 60 is where we stand in Joplin. Pittsburgh is sitting at 58 degrees, so it definitely feels like fall outside. 60 in Stockton, 61 in Anderson, 63 in Welch. Much of the same in Neodesha, Kansas. Plus, we had these northeasterly winds kicking in. It's been pretty much sustained 10 to 20 throughout the daytime hours, and then at times we've had gusts kind of 25 upwards to 30. The winds will slowly come down as we go through the evening hours, 50s, 40s, but we do have freeze warnings in effect for us tonight as our temperatures dip down right around freezing. So we're going to look at that and the rest of the week here in just a bit.
See you soon. Voting is getting underway in a key battleground state. On the same day, a judge delivers a ruling that could ensure the vote gets certified on time. Meanwhile, former President Trump is talking foreign policy while the Harris campaign focuses on black and rural voters. Natalie Brand has more details from the campaign trail.
Elections officials in Georgia are predicting record-breaking turnout for the first day of early voting in the battleground state.
This is a very important election, and so I think mostly everybody will be out here trying to cast their votes.
A state judge ruled today in a case brought by Republican local election board members that they cannot refuse to certify election results. The judge saying Georgia voters would be silenced. Our Constitution and our election code do not allow for that to happen. Former President Donald Trump is holding back-to-back events in Georgia this evening, a state he lost by fewer than 12,000 votes in 2020. Trump also sat for questions Tuesday with Bloomberg and the Economic Club of Chicago, where he was pressed on his proposal for tariffs.
If you don't do this, this country has no chance.
40 million jobs is a lot of jobs to rely on.
They're all coming back.
Trump was also asked if he has spoken to Russian President Vladimir Putin since leaving the White House.
I don't comment on that, but I will tell you that if I did, it's a smart thing.
Vice President Kamala Harris campaigned in Detroit, continuing her outreach to black voters, particularly men, and meeting with black business owners.
21 days.
No.
21 days. And early voting starts in 4 days here.
Her running mate, Tim Walz, is visiting a farm in Pennsylvania, rolling out policy proposals aimed at rural communities, including increasing health care resources.
They don't respect rural communities. And I'll tell you what, they take a hell of a lot of their voters for granted by the policies they put out that don't do a damn thing for rural Pennsylvania or rural Minnesota or any place in this country.
Trump carried rural voters by a margin of nearly 2-1 in 2020. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
The Harris-Walz campaign announced that Governor Tim Walz will campaign with former President Bill Clinton during the first day of early voting in North Carolina on Thursday. And ABC is reporting he'll also rally with former President Barack Obama for the first day of early voting in Wisconsin next week. On November 5th, Allen County residents will be asked to vote on whether to approve a sales tax increase. A yes vote would allow a half-cent increase in the sales tax, with funds supporting the operation of Allen County Medical Services. County commissioners say the increase would generate an estimated $1.2 million a year, which would be used to help pay for their ambulance contract. That contract is expected to be $2.2 million this next year. The Allen County Commission says that if the sales tax is approved, they would lower property taxes in the county.
We're just trying to figure out how can we take it off of the property tax and do it someplace else. The beauty about the sales tax is that not only do folks that live in Allen County pay for it, but anybody that comes into Allen County and buys services and goods gets to help pay for that.
Some Allen County residents say while they want to support EMS, they still have concerns about the sales tax and the potential for an overall increase in taxes in future years. Tonight on KOAM News, we're going to hear from one small business owner who says she plans on voting no in November. Stella had a surprising new study concerning ADHD.
Do you have trouble focusing? I'm Christian Benavides with a new study that shows ADHD may be more common than initially thought.
Plus, research on how to cut the risk of premature deaths. Those stories next in Health Watch. Topping today's Health Watch, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or ADHD, affects about 15.5 million adults. But now a new survey suggests the condition might be more common than previously thought. Christian Benavides has more.
For years, Allison Burke had trouble focusing and acting impulsive, but it wasn't until her daughter was diagnosed with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or ADHD, that she realized she might have it too.
It was literally like lightning bulbs, just every 2 seconds were going off, and I kept thinking, well, this sounds so familiar.
She was diagnosed at 42 years old.
It was just so validating because I really thought my whole life up until that point that there was something wrong with me.
A new survey from the Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center finds 25% of adults suspect they have undiagnosed ADHD.
Only 13% are actually talking to their physicians about it. So it sounds like there may be some self-diagnosis going on that can impede getting the appropriate treatment.
Psychologist Justin Bartarian says diagnosing adults can be difficult because symptoms can be similar to mental health conditions like anxiety and depression, which is why it is critical to talk to your doctor.
The most effective treatment for ADHD is stimulant medications. And then in addition to that, cognitive behavioral therapy focused on executive functioning skills, such as time management, planning, organization.
Allison says it's not perfect, but tools like medication and to-do lists are helping her.
The quietness of my mind has helped me to not be spinning my gears all the time as much. And it's kind of allowed a space for me to feel more confident in tackling things.
Allison hopes sharing her story reduces the stigma around the disorder. Christian Benavides, CBS News.
For adults, ADHD symptoms can also include difficulty focusing on tasks, feeling restless, and talking excessively. Use of the life-saving drug naloxone is growing, but apparently not fast enough. Naloxone is used to reverse opioid drug overdoses, and it can be used by anyone, even without medical training. A study from the Ohio State University found the use of the drug by bystanders rose more than 40% between 2020 and 2022, but still in 96% of cases, it was being used by emergency workers. Many countries could cut their death of premature death in half, cut the risk. A study out of Duke University recommended governments invest in childhood immunizations and low-cost prevention for diseases, tuberculosis, diabetes, and cardiovascular disease. The authors say if more countries followed these recommendations, a person born in 2050 could have an 85% chance of living to age 70. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, some of the high-tech stars at Europe's big auto show.
Plus, it's going to be our first freeze, or at least near it, of the fall season. Details coming up. Well, it turned out to be a great Tuesday for us today. Almost a little chilly outside with the winds, northeasterly winds kicking in 20 to 30 miles per hour throughout the day. But it looks great right now. Great shot of Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Indigo is just outside of Seneca, Missouri. All right, freeze warnings in effect tonight. So if you have any plants sitting outside that can't take temperatures briefly near that freezing point, for instance, mums, you may want to bring them inside as temperatures will dip down right around freezing later on tonight. In fact, those temperatures will slowly drop back through the 50s, 40s, and then I think most of us right around freezing down to about 29 Nevada, 30 in Neosho, 29 in Miami, and then down to about 28 in Chanute. Right now, it's nice, kind of cool compared to what we have been. 60 in Stockton, 61 in Anderson, 60 in Bentonville, Miami 63, and Neodesha is sitting at 63 degrees. Looks good. Here's 7th. Here's range line sitting at 60. Look at those northerly winds with those gusts near 30 miles per hour. Slide back 50s, 40s throughout the evening, so it's going to be fine. The winds will slowly calm down as well. We have those northeasterly winds right now. They're anywhere from 10 to 20 miles per hour, and then we're getting some gusts at times, 25 upwards to 30 miles per hour. Through the night, they'll calm down, so by morning, near calm. Winds fairly light for us tomorrow. They'll start to switch back out of the east and then out of the south on Thursday. So Thursday again will be kind of breezy, but that's going to help our temperatures warm up as we go through the rest of the week. Clear skies, not much going on here. Pretty much the entire Central Plains really looking pretty good. You can see that upper level flow out of Canada ushering in those cooler temperatures, and that system heading off toward the east, high pressure building in, giving us really nice conditions the rest of the week. Then we'll start to focus on our next storm system that dives into really the western, southwestern parts of the U.S. and will start to affect us late this weekend into early next week with at least some chances for rain, which, man, we need it. We just haven't had much over the past couple weeks. All right, let's go into your Wednesday for you. By noon, we should be back into the mid-50s. Most of us by the afternoon, probably 62, 63 degrees. So it looks pretty good. Tomorrow night, still chilly, not as cold. 37, 38, 39 degrees for overnight lows. And then by Thursday afternoon, those winds pick up, and that helps our temperatures warm right around 70 by the time we head into Thursday afternoon. So it looks pretty good. Let's continue to go through the rest of the week. First off, day planner 33 to start, 53 by noon, high temp of 63 degrees. By Friday, temperatures get into the upper 70s for highs, and then we're going to stick into the upper 70s over the weekend to near 80. So another spectacular weekend for us coming up here in a few days. 63 tomorrow, 70 on Thursday, 75 Friday, near 80 over the weekend, and then finally some rain chances moving in as we go into early next week.
Boy, let's hope we get some.
We need it.
Thanks, Doug. Costs to insure your home has skyrocketed, and those rates are expected to keep rising, especially in places where severe weather is more likely. Even before Milton and Helene caused massive property damage in Florida, home insurance premiums were up more than 50% in that state. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger says there are two factors driving the increases.
One is that home prices have gone up by so much, and then also, of course, the inflationary surge means home rebuilding costs a lot more, Add to that climate change. Those events are so frequent now. And the insurance company said, in order to actually insure people properly, we have to raise the premiums. And that accounts for this massive 50% increase across the board.
Schlesinger says potential home buyers should consider the climate risks when purchasing a home. Zillow has introduced a new tool measuring flood, wildfire, and other risk factors. Insurance premiums now account for about 25% of mortgage payments in those high-risk areas. Coming up, the latest on a lawsuit against Microsoft. Topping today's Consumer Watch, Microsoft has reportedly settled an antitrust lawsuit brought by gamers challenging its $69 billion acquisition of Activision Blizzard, maker of the popular Call of Duty games and others. The gamers had alleged in the filing that the deal would limit competition and raise prices. Details of that settlement have not been released. Hardware wholesaler True Value has declared bankruptcy. It says it will sell itself to competitors due at best. The Illinois-based company says the move will put it in a better position for the future. True Value also says it will continue providing products to the more than 4,000 independently owned retail locations it serves. Automakers competing to convince drivers to go electric are rolling out cheaper, more tech-rich models at Europe's biggest auto show. Tina Kraus shows us some of the world's newest green vehicles.
At this year's Paris Motor Show, the race is on to electrify the auto industry by steering drivers down a greener path.
You look around this motor show, you look around car showrooms, they are packed full of electric cars with the latest technology.
General Motors is back in Europe, showing off a series of electric SUVs, including the Cadillac Lyriq. It can go for more than 300 miles on a single charge and comes with the driverless Super Cruise function.
We call it hands off the wheel, eyes on the road.
Vehicles are filled with futuristic features. This Chinese-made hybrid SUV can float on water for up to 30 minutes and has a built-in drone on the roof, which can be deployed to show you what's coming further down the road. Automakers are targeting everyone from luxury clients to students who don't even have their driver's licenses yet. Throwing in artificial intelligence and capitalizing on convenience, like the perk of always snagging a parking spot in the electric Italian Microlino.
So there are a lot of reasons why current cars are way too big for what they are being used most of the time. And so our idea was to say, okay, how can we downsize a vehicle so that it's really fit for purpose?
Car makers say they've done their part to shift the industry toward a greener future and say it's now up to governments to provide more incentives and infrastructure to spark an electric revolution. Tina Kraus, CBS News, London.
Now, as batteries become cheaper, the cost of electric vehicles, of course, are beginning to come down. Batteries are now nearly 90% cheaper than they were back in 2008. A final check of the forecast coming up next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, details about the arrival of two new giant pandas to DC's National Zoo after an 8,000-mile journey from China. Then on KOAM News, that's sentencing for a Pineville, Missouri woman who killed an Arkansas woman and her unborn child. Plus, a look at the newfound success of the Carl Junction Marching Band, and New Heights Volleyball hosts Diamond, and we have the highlights for you. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. Boy, the temperature has been dropping today. It's already chilly out there, and it's going to be downright cold tonight.
Yeah, especially with the winds. Now, the winds are going to calm down as we go through the evening hours, but overnight lows right around freezing later on tonight into the morning hours. 63 tomorrow, so just a notch warmer than what we've seen today. And then 70s return the rest of the week. Some rain chances moving in by early next week.
So I have some plants out on the patio and the deck.
Might want to cover them up.
I might want to.
Especially the tender ones like mom's.
Yeah, there are a few of those. We'll see. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you right back here for KOAM News at 6. Let's make it a great evening.